Hey folks, Tears of the Kingdom provided us as video game enjoyers and Legend of Zelda lovers a new experience when it came to dungeons. 4.5, all with their own unique themes and settings, fit into the 3D open-air format the series is currently in. Now, they were pretty fun, I'd say, and a good improvement on the unseasoned dungeons that were the divine beasts of Breath of the Wild. However, there is a dungeon that comes to mind, a dungeon that you will not be able to find. One so good, so fitting to the game that it could be considered an all-time classic. But what exactly am I on about? I'm talking like somebody who said the Zonai won't be part of Tears of the Kingdom. I just don't see it happening. And now that I've recapped what we know about them, allow me to explain why. Ignore that. What am I on about? Where exactly is this dungeon and why can you not find it? Well folks, stick around as we're about to uncover this mystery better than Scooby-Doo and the gang ever have. But first, as always my friends, be sure to go and grab yourself a snack or drink and send them in via any of my socials linked below to get featured right here. And let's get into this one. First and foremost, to set the tone here, the dungeons that I'm sure you managed to find no bother were the Fire Temple, Wind Temple, Lightning Temple, the Water Temple, and of course the Spirit Temple. 5 distinct themed dungeons, most elements covered and one even Zonai themed. That's the thing here. Themes. They all hold a theme, and that is what Breath of the Wild's Divine Beast lacked. They were all the same aesthetically. They had about as much personality as unsalted crisps. Cool concept, but the game needed some personality in that area. A bit of sauce. Tears of the Kingdom sorted that out. It's a saucy game. Now of course with a theme comes a location. They all fit where they are, just like past dungeons from past games. This is the Zelda way. But there is one dungeon you won't find, and I promise you that you will not find it. I'll tell you where you should be looking though. Alright, come here. Nice and close. Faron. This is where you should be looking, because the game should absolutely have included a goddamn forest temple. Yup, a forest temple. That is the dungeon you won't find. Now some may call this clickbait, and if you do, fair enough, it is a little bit, but at the same time did I lie. You won't find this dungeon. All I said is that there is a dungeon that comes to mind. Alright, welcome to my rant on why Tears of the Kingdom should have had a forest temple, specifically within the Faron region. Firstly, it would fit the classic 3 main themes of Zelda dungeons. It's a staple of the series, your classic forest, fire, and water dungeons to start the game off. What happened to that? I get that the format is different and the games are all 3D open window or whatever it's called now, but how can you bring back dungeon themes, including fire and water, but not forest? How does that happen? I know there is no set order and that couldn't be forced, but still. For me, this is like going to make spag bol. You got the spaghetti, you got the sauce, and you got the meatballs. 3 components. It's like that, but without the delicious sauce.
Hello there, unplanned editor's note. This video is making me very, very hungry. I think I want spaghetti meatballs for dinner now.
You get me? It just doesn't quite work. Sure, the meatballs and spaghetti are still delicious, but it would feel complete with the sauce. The Forest Temple. Secondly, a forest temple could have fit extremely well to the very rich and already existing Zonai lore in this region. Heck, why not have the dungeon entrance hidden beneath the head of the massive dragon made out of stone? Or just anywhere in this dense area that is packed with Zonai history. Prior to release, knowing that the locations we explored and discovered for the first time in Breath of the Wild were about to change and have new shenanigans going on, the Zonai ruins were one of my most anticipated to explore locations, especially given the fact that developers actually chose to explore deeper into the Zonai. Mate, I just imagine discovering an ancient, long-lost Indiana Jones-esque temple deep within the Zonai ruins. The Lightning Temple was by far my favourite in terms of the dungeons itself. It made me feel like I was on an adventure in an untouched dungeon of mysteries. Imagine something like that, but in the theme of the Zonai ruins. The amount of cool puzzles this could have had. Maybe introduce some more Zonai construct types for the standard enemies. And of course, some badass ancient reanimated warrior of the Zonai to face off against as a boss. I'm thinking Odwalla from Majora's Mask kind of vibes. Or heck, it could have gone more in the Twilight Princess route and have some sort of ancient forest monster. But the biggest thing I feel this type of dungeon could have offered is lore. The Zonai are a massive part of this game's story and backstory, but personally, I feel like there's just so much left unanswered that discovering some more lore wouldn't hurt. Especially here as these ruins take on a different design to the more pristine Zonai architecture we see elsewhere. Tell us why, Nintendo. It's all there, without the dungeon itself there. Thirdly, put the Zonai Sage in here. Minoru's dungeon questline is very cool, I must admit, and it isn't something I'd want removed. Just change the stories a little and have the Zonai Sage and ability within this dungeon. Unrelated side note, I really want to explore this place. Seems cool. Fourth, and on the topic of the Sage to the dungeon, with the story change I suggested, I'd have the Sage reward we get be a little different. Rather than this absolute tank, I'd give Link a sort of vine ability, you know, fitting the setting. They'd act as whips in a sense, but with multiple usages, attacking enemies, swinging from tree to tree, or even island to island, grabbing levers, whipping Ganondorf. Oh, and I hear you asking, who do we enter with? In all of the other dungeons, we enter with the modern day champion, essentially, of each settlement. Even with Minoru's quest, we technically do that with Minoru by our side. Just in spiritual form. Well, I would suggest that we enter and decipher ancient texts together with none other than Taro, the Zonai dude. A key mechanic and something a little different to the other dungeons could have been us helping him through the dungeon by being the big hero-y hero we are and allowing him to translate ancient Zonai text to aid us in progressing through the dungeon. Tell me why this isn't possible.
It's just not. Why not, you stupid
Fifth and final point, the game just could have done with one more dungeon. Most Zelda games feature close to 6, 7 and even 8 dungeons in a game. I understand these current games are bigger, but the dungeons aren't really bigger, and in a different format. But would 5 dungeons be too much to ask? And I say 5 because whilst the Spirit Temple is kinda a dungeon, it isn't a dungeon experience. So I'm asking for 5 or 6 depending on how you view the Spirit Temple, which I'd absolutely still have in the game, just as well as a Forest Temple. Like I said earlier, I know we won't be able to have the mandatory Forest, Fire then Water first 3 dungeons, like the best game in the series and all the other amazing games, but just having a Forest Temple in this world would have gone so hard. And before some of you in the comments come to slaughter me for whining, yes I am a little bit, but I'm not making this video to come off as attacking Nintendo or the Zelda team in any way, shape or form. I love them and their games. I just want a Forest Temple, man. That's it. Well, well, well. Here we are. Has my rant got you on board as well? I just can't stop thinking about this now that I've overthought about it this much, and the potential that was there for it. Oh well, maybe next time, or as a part of potential DLC in the future. Subscribe to the channel if you're a legend and want to make my day. Very much appreciated. And be sure to drop a like as well. Also much appreciated. A massive shout out goes to my channel supporters for helping me massively to make these videos possible. If you want to support my work as well as get yourself some behind the scenes peeks at my work, a shout out when you join and your name in my videos just like on screen right now, then check out the supporting links in the description. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have an amazing day or night, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.